Come on in, Senator John Kennedy, Republican from Louisiana. Mr. Senator, you don't want to close the border at all, do you?
I think the cure would be as bad as the disease, Stuart. Look, we got a problem. We're at the breaking point down there. The president's right. In March, we had 100,000 illegal immigrants come into this country, and most of them came in, and they're still here because the asylum laws they're broken. You could drive around Washington, D.C., pick the first guy living under the interstate and ask him to draft new asylum laws, and they'd be better than what we've got.
But you're not going to get a rewriting of the asylum laws anytime soon.
No, the Democrats won't do it.
So you'll get nothing coming from Congress because of this crisis, on this crisis. So what are we going to do? We've got video this morning. We're swamped, absolutely swamped at the border.
Here's what we need to do. Number one, we need to get the wall built. Number two, I wouldn't close the border. Here's why. First, it'll knock a point off our GDP and probably crash the stock market. Number two, it won't solve the problem because if we close the border, we're closing legal points of entry. People are still going to come in illegally. Number three, I would take another run if I were president at trying to change the asylum laws to look like somebody designed them on purpose. And if our Democratic friends refuse to cooperate for political reasons, I would wear them out. Number four, I would call a summit. I would ask the president of Mexico, the president of El Salvador, the president of Guatemala, the president of Honduras to come to a summit, and I would say, look, guys, we're willing to put up a reasonable amount of money, but I want to walk out of here with a specific commitment from you about how you're going to stem the tide of people coming from Central America through Mexico and coming into the United States illegally, because that's the problem. And number five, don't tell me the Republican Party of the American people are anti-immigrant. We welcome 1 million people to this country every single year, more than any other country in the world, but they come here legally. And it's not fair to them to let 100,000 people a month come in illegally.
Believe me, Mr. Senator, I'm an immigrant, and I felt the very, very warm embrace of America for immigrants like me.
And God bless you. And with as much money as you make, Stuart, think how much you contributed to our treasury.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Senator. You just ruined it right at the end. Okay, I've got to get to this.
You could buy Rhode Island if you want to.
I don't want it. Headline. That's nasty. We have viewers in Rhode Island. I've got to read this headline in New York Times. I know you've seen it. Some on Mueller's team say report was more damaging than Barr revealed. Here we go. They're going to retry the Mueller report. What do you say to that?
I say, did they give their name? No. Duh. Look, everybody up here, Stuart, you know this, on both sides of the aisle has an agenda. And I've stopped reading these articles where anonymous sources. I want to meet anonymous sources someday. Guy must be busy, or gal must be busy, because now every news article is based on an anonymous source. Yeah. Whoever it is, I can't judge their credibility. Look, Bill Barr is going to release the report probably this time next week. I don't have inside information. And he's going to disclose as much as he can. He's a straight shooter. The permanent Washington types, the ones that we've talked about before, that drink goat's milk lattes and live in the fancy condominiums, they're going to choose sides. They've already decided what their position is going to be. What I care about is what the American people think. And some of them are going to look at it and care. Others aren't going to. Others, frankly, don't care. They know Russia tried to interfere in the investigation.
Senator, I've got to get to this real fast because this is a big deal. The Senate is changing the rules to speed up passage of presidential nominees. Tell me more, please. Got 30 seconds.
We had to. We didn't want to. We begged Chuck, Senator Schumer, to please stop filibustering. He's filibustered Trump nominees 128 times. You know how many times the Republicans filibustered when President Obama was president? 12. And it uses we can break his filibuster, but it takes us a whole week. At this rate, President Trump will get his people confirmed sometime about 2028.
Good Lord.
Mr. And we did what we had to do.
Got it. Mr. Senator, it's always a pleasure, Rhode Island or otherwise. Thanks for joining us, so we do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.